Now today we're going to talk about things that can expire or go bad in your camper or your RV. For us, we have a smaller camper, 26 foot, but we still have things that are common to yours that can expire or go bad. So I'd like to share with you those things today. Before we get started, please hang in there and I'll be right back. Hiyo everybody, welcome back. Well, let's go ahead and get started talking about 8 different things in our camper that we keep an eye on that could either expire or go bad on us. So I'd like to start off with the first thing. One is propane tanks. A lot of folks don't know that your propane tank can actually expire on you. The way to know that it will expire on you is by looking at your propane tank on the top where your shutoff valve is. Around that little protection rim will actually have a date stamped on there. That date stamp actually says when it was manufactured. Now 10 years after that date stamp, your propane tank legally cannot be filled again. So keep an eye on that date. So let's move on to talk about your water system. Now 2 things that you need to watch out for, one is your water hose and one is your water filter. So let's start off talking about the water filter itself. Now the water filter, depending on its kind of use, the kind of water that's going in and how much it's actually trying to filter, and stuff like that determines on how well or how long it will last. But if you're one of those ones that's really not using it a lot, then most likely it's not going to go bad on you really quick. But if you look on the label itself, as you can see in this video right here, you can see on there that they recommend that even if you don't use it a lot and a lot of dirty water and stuff like that hasn't had to be filtered, then it's a good idea that you should probably change that out seasonally. Now if you go to Amazon, you can find all kinds of filters on there, and if you go to Walmart, you can find them there as well. What you'll usually find is like a 2-pack or something like that. So if you buy one 2-pack and things go well during your season, most likely you can use one filter, throw it away on that season, and you'll have another one for the next season. So that leads us to talking about the water hose itself. Now typically the water hose won't expire. It doesn't have an expiration date or something like that that comes with it. But there are things that you need to look for. You need to look for dry rot, you need to look for cracking, you need to look for the end seals and things like that to make sure that they're still staying good. Another thing that you should probably do, especially when it's hot outside, when you get done using your hose, make sure you empty it completely. You take one end, you raise it up, and you keep going through until you get to the other end, getting all that water out. The last thing that you want to do is to have all that water getting stagnant inside the hose and starting to create any kind of algae or anything like that. So you want to keep it good and clean. So one thing that you could do to help combat this is the day before you leave, go ahead and unhook it. Get a little bit of water in your fresh tank. You can use that overnight and the next day. Then take your hose, empty all the water out of it, hang it up and let it drip dry overnight. That way the next day you can roll it all up, store it away, and know that it is as dry and water-free as possible. Now let's move on to surge protection. A lot of people like to spend as little as they can on a surge protector. Now they can get really expensive. The one that we have, like you see in this video here, ran us at about $250 to $300. Now if I may make any recommendations on where you could spend your money and something that you should not go cheap on, this is probably one of the ones, because we actually had a meltdown on one of our power posts, and a different surge protector that we had actually saved our camper. Now if you're interested in actually hearing more about surge protection and stuff like that, I made a video earlier about surge protection, and I'll leave a link in the description below as well as a tag on the end so you can get to that video. Now on to talking about the surge protector and why we want to put it in here, talking about expirations and things that can go bad. Typically with a surge protector, it will do its job when it comes to the time where it needs to surge and protect. In the case of the one that you've seen in this video, this one actually looks for several different things. It looks for high amps, it looks for low voltage, and it also looks for any surges that it needs to protect against. Now typically, with a cheaper model, if you actually have a surge issue, then 9 times out of 10, that surge protector itself is no longer any good. Hence, you'll have to go out, purchase another one, and bring that in and start using it. Now, like I said, it doesn't typically expire, but it does get a lot of use. So make sure you're doing plenty of inspections and stuff like that on your surge protector. You don't want any issues around your electrical system that could cause a fire or anything like that that could be very, very dangerous. Now to talk about sewage hoses. Now sewage hoses don't have an expiration date. Just like the water hose, it doesn't have any kind of sticker or anything like that that says that it expires after a certain amount of time. But just like the water hose, you want to look at your seals, you want to look at the rotating mechanisms, you want to pull it out, push it back together, make sure there's any holes or cracks or anything like that. The reason for that? Well, I'm going to leave that up to you, but I'm pretty sure you could figure out that one. If it fails on you, well, I think you know what can happen next. One other thing to watch out for are your tires. Tires can expire and they can also go bad on you. You need to look for dry rot, you need to look for tire tread wear, you need to look for air pressure and stuff like that. Now in this video, crossing over our tires, you can actually see this little thing on the valve stem where you put the air in. This turns green or red. The green means that it's full of air, good to go at the right pressure. Red means that it is not. It's good to make sure that you keep an eye on those things. The tires sit out in the sun and stuff like that and get baked by the UV rays, as well as all the other elements in the weather and things like that. Because of this, the rubber in the tire can actually dry rot and start going bad on you. So it's good to make sure you're checking for those things like the cracks and the tread wear like we said a minute ago. And if you start seeing those kind of defects in your tires, don't take the chances of the safety of the risk of continuing to use them. Go ahead, take them somewhere, get them changed out, replaced, and things like that. Now, one big item that can actually expire on you in your camper is the camper itself. Campers should have some kind of inspection. At least in the state of Virginia, you have to have it inspected once a year. So if you let your inspection sticker run out, kind of like this one here, what you're actually bypassing there is an opportunity to take it in, get inspected, and have somebody look it over really good to make sure that everything is safe and good to go. So make sure you pay attention to the date on that sticker and get it inspected when it's actually due. All right, on to the last couple of things. And now this deals mostly with the inside of the RV, yet are very important because these are two things are about safety. They're there to protect your life. One is a smoke detector, the other one is a carbon monoxide detector. Now the smoke detector itself has a test button on it. If you push on that test button and hold it for a little while, it should start beeping and sounding out really loud. Now I did mine, and if I were you, I would wear some earplugs just in case, because it can be really, really loud. What the smoke detector actually does is different than the carbon monoxide detector. You can't rely on one to do one job of the other and back forth the other way. What the actual smoke detector does is detect smoke. So in the event that you have a fire, I pray that you don't, but in the event that you may, the smoke detector will pick up the smoke and start sounding off the alarm so that it either wakes you up or gets your attention so that you can go attend to it. In your smoke detector, you need to push that test button. If it does not work, you need to get another one. Now, a lot of them in campers and RVs and stuff like that are plugged into the 12-volt system. But in a pinch, you can always go out to your Home Depot or something like that, buy one, put the battery in, stick it in there, and at least you'll have a peace of mind around your smoke detector. Now that takes us to the last item on the list. The last item is your carbon monoxide detector. So what does a carbon monoxide detector detect? A carbon monoxide detector is actually used to detect anything in the air that contains carbon monoxide. Now typically where that's going to come from is from your stove because it's using propane, or your furnace because it also uses propane. Propane, when burnt or unburnt, will actually displace the oxygen inside of your RV, filling up your RV with carbon monoxide, which will in turn not allow you to be able to breathe. So it's a good idea to make sure that this one's working as well. Now ours has a green light on it to make sure it's green. It also has a test on there so that we can make sure that it's working also. Now if you want to go a step further, with the carbon monoxide and the smoke detector, you can actually buy test kits that put off carbon monoxide as well as puts off smoke. You wave those in front of the detectors and they should go off. Now we're going to go ahead and wrap things up, and I hope these items that we talked about around things that expire or go bad on you actually help you out a little bit or give you some information, maybe something that you didn't know. But if you're one of those ones out there that are full-timers or somebody that's been camping for a long time or may have some suggestions to the Imagine Your Odyssey community, please share those down in the comments below. And as always, please keep it safe, have a great time on your adventures, and God bless.